சுத்தமான பாலோட அட்ரஸ் என்னன்னா கண்ட்ரி டிலைட் அத நான் சொல்லணும். சரி சொல்லி இது ஆப்ல தான் ஆர்டர் பண்ணணும்.
Look at this Diwali in Tamil Nadu. It's like three young guns. You can't take a film, cast people from different places and then say, oh, this is a pan-India film. No. So of course, and Mari sir will, if you ever ask him, he'll tell you that I really tortured him. When we were shooting, it was always like budget. He will tell you. Dhruv literally gave himself to the director. Like he went in completely clean slate. Mari sir took him apart and put him back together, you know. He's shot with professional kabaddi players. It's very good script for you because it's a woman oriented film. There are 2 rapes and the woman dies. It's just like Urvashi ma'am is my absolute favorite, and now after Bison then I'll tell you my next. You can expect the unexpected. Yeah, it's a very good film. It's really a very good film. I can't answer this question.
I'm sure you'll be very busy this right point of time because the Bison is all set for the release. To start off with, what kind of stories excites you?
So first of all, thank you for having me. I know that producers don't usually make it to the interviews, so I appreciate you inviting me. I used to find it very difficult to answer this question, but now I've thought about it a lot, and I can tell you that it's more about the filmmakers. It's the storytellers that really excite me. One of the reasons why I decided to try and work in Tamil Nadu is because I used to come to meet Ranjit sir about some other work and a film that he was doing, and I saw that in his office there were all these young filmmakers, young people who had super interesting stories and they had very interesting points of view, and actually I had decided that I would do this slate of film with Ranjit sir even before I heard a single story. That was not, I mean, these were going to be at least 4 out of the 5 or 3 out of the 5 were going to be debut filmmakers. So, you know, it wasn't out of any like great commercial expectation. It was more because the ecosystem was very exciting. The first script that I heard, the first Tamil story that I heard from a point of view of producing was a film called Writer. And I still remember that meeting that I had with Franklin. And he came and he kind of told me the story. And it was interesting because I don't know Tamil and he wasn't fluent enough in English to narrate the story. So somebody was translating it. So actually that should create a division, right? Like this distance. Right. But what he said was very interesting to me because what he said is that we hear all this story about police brutality and that is true. But the people who are being forced to do that brutality are actually also from those same communities, and they are kind of being asked to take these violent actions against their own people. And after a very long time I had heard a story from someone who seemed so intimately aware, as in it was almost like he was telling me a story from his own world, right? It wasn't like he had seen cop dramas or it wasn't like he had read a book. He was telling me a story which was something from his own life, something from his own experience, and that's why that film and that script has so much texture in it. So my excitement comes from filmmakers who are able to bring a kind of interesting perspective or something that we don't usually see in Indian cinema, where you bring your own point of view into that story, right? So you see a world that is unseen before. And that is something that I really was missing in the kind of films that we were trying to develop in Hindi cinema, because it was all things that was very familiar to me. It was the world I lived in, it was the people I met, but here suddenly I was introduced to this whole new world, and I believe strongly in this idea that the West calls narrative sovereignty, which is people should tell their own stories. No one should tell your story for you. So
and that story can't be said so true other than them.
I'll give you an example from Mari sir's previous film. I keep talking about this. So there's that scene where there's a young boy who he smells the handkerchief of the
Teacher.
teacher, and the thing is that like it's such a feeling for him, right? Every other director would have taken that scene on the boy's face, okay, like, and the boy would have smelt the hanky, and then he would have
Yeah.
pretended to be ecstatic, and then Mari sir just, he holds that hanky and then he cuts to the boy's feet, and I'm telling you that his feet are on that desk, and he picks up his foot and he puts it on the ground.
Mm.
You can literally, like, you can feel the coolness that the ground to the cement floor must have, like, you can feel like it must have been a cool floor, like, you're there, you're suddenly there,
Yeah.
and you can't create that moment unless you've experienced that moment
Correct.
in some way. So it's not about whether you'll get a story right or wrong. You'll get a story right. But can you create a character that is so nuanced, that is so three-dimensional, that everyone can see a little bit of themselves
Correct.
in the... So to answer your question, I don't have a mandate. Like, I've done very different kinds of films. But what I've liked about all the films is that they've told a very personal story.
And also, you have worked in different regions also, in different industries also. What difference you see among, say, Tamil, international, or Bollywood and all that?
Right now, like, the biggest comparison is between the Bombay film industry, which is the Hindi film industry, and for me, the Tamil film industry, is that, see, any industry, I'm taking a very broad example, has a very important component, which is the research and development part, right? So,
Correct.
like, if it's a pharmaceutical company, if it's a design company, if it's a chemicals company, part of the company dedicates itself to innovation.
Correct.
Without innovation, you die. According to me, that is what has happened in the Hindi film industry, because roughly about 10-15 years ago, the Hindi film industry was a very dynamic industry. And if you look at it, the family film, right, that was the mainstay of the Hindi film industry. Like, Hindi films made the best family entertainers, okay, like where the whole family, and through the 90s, those were all the big hits. But then what happened was that once the kind of bigger studios started coming in, they didn't have those relationships with actors or talent or whatever. So that's when you started seeing these crazy salaries for actors.
Yeah.
Because that was the only way to get somebody. Like Karan Johar has a relationship with a Shah Rukh Khan. Their relationship goes beyond commercials, right? That was not the case with the studios. So when the studios came in, there were these crazy salaries that started getting paid. And I know, because I used to work for the studios, and there used to be this thing called a viability sheet. It's an Excel sheet on which you put in all the numbers. Meaning you say, like, okay, is this actor,
The salary.
this actor, this is his last film. His last film did so many screens.
Okay.
TV sold for this much, music sold for this much, everything discounted by 20%. Then that's your viability of this. But you can't capture a film. You can't capture a film on an Excel sheet. And what happened as a result was that if you don't have a track record, meaning if you're a new actor or a new director, new music director, then you don't even make it to that Excel sheet.
Correct.
So I used to work for a company called UTV that had a subdivision called UTV Spot Boy. So UTV Spot Boy used to do a lot of independent films like Anurag Kashyap's Devdi. All came from that. And then suddenly all of those films finished. Okay. What happened 10-15 years ago is that you cut off the research and development part, because there was no new talent coming in. So there were no new actors, there were no new music directors, no new writers, no new directors. So you see right now, Hindi cinema is struggling because there are no young actors. Everyone is saying, make films for young people, make films for young people. But maybe only one or two actors are in their 20s. Everybody else is in their 30s. So how will you make films for college-going crowd? Or look at this Diwali in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like 3 young guns. It's fantastic. I'm surprised the industry isn't celebrating this more, because this kind of regeneration of talent is what keeps the industry dynamic. To me, the biggest difference between the Hindi film industry currently and the Tamil film industry that I have experienced is that the Tamil industry continuously invests in new talent. There will always be a big film and a small film. A big film and a small film. Whether that film does well, doesn't do well, doesn't matter. It's that you've created that talent. Now he'll go on and do, he or she will go on and do something. according to me, that kind of like lack of innovation has really hurt the Hindi film industry. And what's happening now is, everyone is seeing that, oh, Pushpa did very well. Okay,
Yeah.
let's make 5 Pushpas. But Pushpa works because Pushpa would have worked in Andhra and Telangana anyway. That's why it went on to work anywhere else.
Right.
You can't take a film like, then you get Liger, right? Which is that you can't take a film, cast people from different places and then
Correct.
say, oh, this is a pan India film. No.
Right.
First of all,
Pan-India film is depend on the story, right?
depends on the story, also depends on which is your anchor market.
Right,
Where do you anchor the film? It has to be real, it has to be authentic. Cinema going audiences are too smart now.
Right.
They see through inauthenticity like that, which is why I feel so excited about Bison, because again, it's the same thing that I was saying. This is a person who has, there's a word in Hindi called tarasho. I'm trying to figure out what the English word is. It's a sculpture, okay? And he sculpted.
Yeah.
He sculpted a story. It is so personal. Like all the themes within the film, they are not. He's not seen them in some movie.
Yeah, correct.
He's not saying, oh,
Comes out of his
this
mind.
movie meets this movie. No, it's like a
Right.
story's come from his heart.
Right.
Which is why it'll work as a story also, it'll work as a book also, it'll work as a film
right.
also, because it's from the heart. And that is sorely missing.
And which is why the world is also so connective.
Yeah.
If there's a shot, I mean, talking about Marisa's films also, if there's a shot, it doesn't only focus on the actor. There'll be quite a lot of things around them. They'll be eating, the plate, as you said, the bench, pencil. All that is getting the audience into the film. I used to remember a film, Premam. There will be a lot of montage of shot, foods in the basket and all that. That will create an image that we get into the story. It's like reading a book.
Yeah, this is a personal learning for me. When I started working here, I was very obsessed with the idea of a bound script.
Yeah.
Because Hindi films are all about bound script. Do you have a bound script?
Yeah.
Okay. But the thing is that when with directors like Mari sir and Ranjit sir, characters in their film are not just the actors. It's also the production design. It's also the music. So until you are actually on the location, you don't know how your scene is going to play out. I remember that scene in Kala, where the colors at the end, where there's the black color powder and then there's a little bit of red and then there's the blue color. And if you can watch that film at so many levels. You can watch it just for the story, then you can watch it for the subtext, the political subtext, then you can watch it for everything that's happening in the background.
Right.
Same with Mari sir. The production design is so critical to the film.
Right.
And there's sort of like lines of code, written into the story. You have to allow yourself to absorb it. So in that sense, I've also now reached the point where I'm like, no, by not having this idea of a bound script, you actually get a much more dynamic film. Because you allow the creator to create. You're not tying him up.
Yeah.
And I think that's another big difference between the two industries.
After the narration, as you said, you can be able to okay the film or judge the film or getting into the film after the narration. You will have a number in your mind. Right, okay, this film can be made in this number. No? And how does that work? How does that work in Bison?
Actually, no. I mean, honestly, if I was to answer this question just for Bison, I'll tell you how Bison happened. I was in Goa for the film festival, and that time I had just started to get to know Ranjit sir, and Pariyaram Paramal was playing in theatres. So Ranjit sir called me to say, no, I called him. So I said, oh, your film is playing, sir. Are you here? So he said, yeah, I'm here. And they had a screening that evening. So I went to see the film. First of all, it was a crazy experience. Because when we entered the hall, there was this, they were running very delayed. So the film was almost 2 hours or 3 hours late to start. And there was this audience sitting at the back. And they were just chanting Ranjit sir's name. Like it was, I've never experienced anything like that. And then we went in and we sat down, and sometimes you watch a film because a friend has made it and don't know. So I didn't really have expectations like that, but I saw it and then I was watching the film and I remember thinking like, wow, I have not seen a film like this. This was the interval, and then at the end when that
Cup. Glass.
it was like to Mercy, I get goosebumps. Like,
Best
talking about
metaphors,
it.
yeah, in
Oh, it
recent
was
times, yeah.
so beautiful. It's such a small moment, but it's
Yeah.
such a big moment, you know. I remember I came out and the cast and crew were there, and everyone was congratulating each other. And then after that, I was just walking Ranjit sir and Marisa was walking them back to their hotel. It was like Goa, dark streets, and Ranjit sir and I had been talking about this 5 film slate, and I had been very okay because debut directors. I was nervous, and then I saw that film. And I was like, okay, we'll do it. Pariyan Paramal made a lot of the other films happen because I signed Mari sir before Karnan happened, before Mamanan happened, before Vada happened. Nothing. It was like just on the basis of that
Pariyan
one
Paramal.
film. And the thing is that I actually feel that, not to say that numbers are not important, numbers are very important. But Dhruv had not yet done Mahan,
Yeah,
and Mari sir had only done Pariyan Paramal.
yeah.
So you can imagine that
So it's also the energy, the one
it
film
is.
gives you.
If you don't, with a film, you have to jump off a cliff. And I'm not just saying that, I'm saying that because I have lost so many opportunities waiting to get the right number, waiting to get the right script, waiting to. But this experience has taught me that you have to jump off a cliff. And there's something that you have to put into it. Then you can start working together to. So of course, and Mari sir will, if you ever ask him, he'll tell you that I really tortured him when we were shooting. It was always like budget, budget,
Yeah, yeah,
budget,
yeah.
budget.
Right, right,
He will tell you, and I did torture him because of course we have to close the
Yeah.
film at a certain number, and we have commitments to our partners also. But no, there was no number when we started. The number was that I wanted to make a film with that filmmaker. That's it.
But is that is right way of approaching a movie? Because without logging a number.
See, before you go into shoot, or when you're structuring the film, or when you start going to partners for investments and stuff, then of course you have to have that conversation. It has to be a right moment for that question. With somebody like this, if you have that conversation on the first
Early stage,
day,
yeah, got it.
then your energy is totally wrong.
Got
You're not doing the film because of the filmmaker or the film. You're doing the film because of this mythical number. And with films, it's become harder and harder because your big road jam on sales now, right?
Yeah.
Like satellite sales are becoming harder.
OTT is also,
OTT is becoming
but
harder.
yeah, music, satellite, and
Everything.
theatrical
Right?
is also.
Theaters are like,
Yeah.
at one point you could more or less say, okay, even if the film does badly, okay, this is, unless it's a super flop, this film will still do this much.
Yeah.
Those things are all gone. So what I feel is that you have to be smart about your budget. You don't know how much money you're going to make, but your budget should generally, by and large, be able to be covered by your non-theatrical sales. If you can cover your budget with your, or more or less cover your budget with your non-theatrical sales, and you have the ability to raise the money for your promotions,
Yeah.
then that's a bet that you have to take. In this business, you can't take a winning bet. You can take a safe bet. A film definitely make money? Nobody can answer that question.
Right.
I mean, there was a film here that released this summer, which was Kamal sir's film.
Yeah.
It
Right,
was
right.
on paper, like,
An extraordinary promoted film.
extraordinarily promoted film and extraordinary, amazing artist who was so well regarded, like, the whole country was waiting.
Yeah. You were saying about everything happened after Pariyaram Perumal, and the same feel you had with other films also, Karnan, Mamannan, Wali. Is there the same thing happened to you?
So my two favorite films are Pariyan Perumal and Vadai. I love Dhanush. I think he's probably one of the finest actors in the country, not just in this industry. And I think that Mari sir also constructed him very interestingly. I don't think Mari sir has made a bad film. Just for my personal, from my personal kind of choices and experience, these are the two films that appeal to me personally. I will say that Bison in that sense is going to be very interesting. In this case, he was completely in control. Mari sir was completely in control. So Dhruv,
Yeah.
literally gave himself to the director. Like he went in completely clean slate, and Mari sir took him apart and put him back together, you know. So I was watching Dhruv in the promotion. I was in the audience and I was watching. I told him later, I said, you know, now you've returned back to the way I used to see you
Mm.
before we started training for the film. But throughout the time that we were training for the film,
Mm. He was that character.
he was actually, and you see, like a sportsman, right?
Mm.
A sportsman carries their body in a certain way. An actor carries their body in a very different way. A sportsman carries their body in a very different way. How they breathe, how they talk.
Yeah.
It's not just about the dialogues, not just about the acting. It's just like how you carry yourself. And Mari sir had said this because we were going to shoot before Karnan, and then it was after Karnan, then it was, you know,
Mamanan.
Mamanan, and then
Well,
so we kept sort of waiting, and Mari sir said this to me very clearly. He said that, look, I won't shoot till I don't want Dhruv to act as a kabaddi player. I want him to be a kabaddi player. Because he is shot with professional kabaddi players.
mm.
They are not, they were not actors.
Mm.
They were real players. And they played kabaddi really. Not just Dhruv, even Mari sir. If you see the BTS, he himself is playing kabaddi. So like through those 2 years of training, Mari sir is also
Learnt.
playing. He's also playing. Dhruv is also playing. So when they actually went in to shoot the film and those scenes, they were no longer needing to do choreography. They were shooting it properly. Really, you know. It was not like, oh, okay, now this person will come from where this. No.
Yes.
We are playing.
So, which is your favorite character in? I mean, not in Bison because we couldn't be able to judge that. But we'll talk about other films which you did, Tandakaranyam or say J Baby, right?
My favorite character
Yeah.
without doubt of the films that I have worked on is Urvashi from JVB. She was so good. She's such a revelation. You know, first time I saw the film, I saw it without subtitles. I don't speak Tamil. I don't understand. I understand a little bit, but not, not full dialogues and all. But she made me laugh. Like, someone with that kind of comic timing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. Last female actor that I saw with that kind of comic timing was Sridevi. She's so good. So when I read the script, or when the script was narrated to me, the script was very funny. But wow, like she was extraordinary. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I've told them, in fact, that if they ever want to do a series just with that character and that actor, I'm fully game. Also because you don't see older women so much in like such central characters, such central roles, interesting roles. Actually, the film had a lot of humor in it, but it's also kind of emotional film, right?
That emotion also, I mean, you can Urvashi ma'am's Ullaluk is also a wonderful film.
Yeah.
But this J Baby's comic sense and also the one particular block where his son comes and beat her I think in the police station or something.
When
Everybody
he's
in the
super
theater.
frustrated we went to some theaters and stuff when the film released, and you know what was very interesting is that usually when you go to theaters, you see very young people, or maximum you see young families. But I went for a few shows where there were so many older ladies, so many older women, and there was someone who told me also that I haven't come to the theater for 20 years. I've not come to see a film. You know, and they were like all these women and they were crying, and it was very special. It was a very nice moment.
Right.
I wish the film had done more commercially. I wish the film had done more in terms of business and all of that. So, of course, those desires are there. But purely if you ask me, character and actor, wow. And after Bison, then I'll answer it again.
Sure.
But this
how does a debutant director can approach your studio?
Theoretically, they can approach us. We have a development coordinator, so they can approach us through them. We have an email address. We've also on our social media and stuff, we have also publicized that address. To be honest with you, there are loads of people that also just reach out on social media, generally like DMs and stuff, and I don't mind Sometimes they're very random. Like sometimes people will send me messages like, "Ma'am, there's a very good script. It's very good script for you because it's a woman-oriented film. There are two rapes and the woman dies." It's just like, no, I'm not interested in this. But then there are actually some people who sometimes send sort of interesting. Like I said, like for me, it really comes down to the person, the filmmaker. I heard a story from a debut filmmaker a few months ago. We haven't been able to take it forward. It's like a gangster film. It still stayed with me. Like I'd love to make it. I'd love to make it in. Actually, I'd love to make that in Hindi because I think it really works in Hindi. But it's not so difficult to approach me. We are pretty.
Yeah, I think that filmmaker would have watched Dandakaranyam, that women character designed, and that was the change when happens. Both the male and the female will be in the forest, talking about the general politics, ma'am, with no dress and all that, and that staging and that kind of content to be produced.
The credit of that film goes entirely to Ranjit sir and
Adiyan sir.
Athiyan. Completely. Both of them are the ones. I can't take any credit for that film. In fact, that was one of the films that commercials played a part in my the way that I approached it or my decision making on that. But yeah, but it was a beautiful. It was really a the synopsis when it had come. It was a superb. Also, a very important story.
Yeah, correct.
Super important story. And
Correct.
if I had to shut my eyes and say it, then Urvashi ma'am is my absolute favorite. And now after Bison, then I'll tell you my next.
Tell us about this issue we faced recently. We heard recently about Deepika Padukone on this, Kalki 2 and all that.
I'm glad you asked me that question. I've been wanting to talk about it. I fully support the idea that we should have better working hours. We should have some safety nets for people who work in the film industry. I mean, if there are two people who finish school, finish school or college, and one joins the film industry and one joins a normal job, in the next 4 to 5 years, that person who's in a normal job will have medical insurance, life insurance. They'll have the ability to take a loan, get a credit card, buy a house. Whereas the person in the film industry, not only is it unorganized, but also they just do not have any safety nets. So suppose a young person who doesn't come from a very economically well-off background, who gets injured, gets hurt, they are completely dependent on the generosity of the people around them, right? Like somebody will contribute, somebody will. But suppose that doesn't happen, and that's not sustainable, it's not viable. So the thing is that not only the issue of working hours, the general practice of how work happens in the film industry needs a total and complete overhaul. And I fully endorse that, and I think that this conversation has to happen with across the industry, and it can't happen in this way that actors are, it's like combative, and like generally the press will ask you in a very baiting way, what do you think? Because no, this is very important, because you can't allow people to, passion does not fill your stomach, okay, and you should not put artists into that situation where they absolutely in many cases cannot sustain themselves, cannot sustain their families. So I fully agree with Deepika that a complete and total overhaul of work culture has to happen. But the onus of that cannot be only on the producers. This is the point. Independent producers are hanging on by a thin thread. Okay? Every kind of cost has gone up. Every single kind of cost has gone up. Even then, we are not able to make, people should be earning better. But even where we are today, margins for producers are so narrow and they're so risky. Usually, if you had this kind of risk portfolio, you would potentially have a very high reward. You don't take on this kind of risk for this kind of reward. If you simply keep passing on all of these things to producers, ultimately you will find a situation where only the production houses that have a lot of capital, which is basically your studios, your platforms, they will be the only ones who will survive. And everybody else is going to, that culture will get destroyed totally. So if the industry wants independent producers to survive, for the industry to remain dynamic, for actors to also get in different kinds of roles, and then certain systemic changes have to happen. Okay, the fact that there is no cap on actor salaries, the fact that there is absolutely no cap on entourage costs, the fact that you are completely held hostage by actors' entourages, especially with these kind of like new managers who are coming in, it's a recipe for disaster. Nobody should have to be paid to come to work. Everyone gets paid a salary. Everyone gets paid a salary commensurate with their contribution to the film. The actors may have the largest contribution to the film. Fine. But your salary is already reflective of that contribution.
Right.
If you load it up with 100 other costs, then that's where those crazy work days come from. Because if you don't have those crazy costs, you can say, okay, I'd rather shoot this for 90 days or 100 days. But if your per day costs are so high, then you're like, no, I have to finish this in 70 days. So where I am completely in agreement, and what I would love to do is for producers, actors, directors, the whole industry to sit together and find a solution for this and to find a meeting of minds. But it definitely cannot happen just by passing on the onus of this to the producer. No. The industry will suffer.
Yeah. Once after seeing the final out before the release, a producer, the call on the marketing and positioning the film. How does it work?
Nobody knows the right answer to that question. Right now, promotions have become ego, honestly. Oh, I had so many hoardings, or I had so many press ads, or I had so many these things, but my competitor had so many more. And then that's why my film failed, okay? I think that we have a long way to go in really taking a scientific approach to film promotions. First of all, as far as digital promotions are concerned, right? Because I've worked in the West, there are extraordinary tools available, and I wonder why they have not come to India, and I'm sure it's just a matter of time. But like, for example, we were working with somebody who was releasing the film in the US. The kind of we didn't even know that the data existed, but the kind of data that they gave us, because we were having a discussion on how many theaters, which theaters, and we were having very standard conversation like, okay, is it going to be 100 theaters? Is it going to be, no, I think it should be 150. And they were like, guys, you don't need 150 theaters. And here's the data. And they showed us our trailer plays, and then they showed us the data with that trailer play. So they had a heat map, and they said, okay, here's where all the Indian diaspora is. So this is where you have the density of theaters. You have somebody who's 40-50 kilometers away from a theater. They're not going to come to watch your film anyway. So you don't need to market to them at all.
Right.
Here, within this dense population, here are so many people watched your trailer fully. So many people put it off at the 3-second or 5-second mark. Okay. So those people who watched it 3-second, 5-second, though it's come as a view, right? It's showing as a view, but it's irrelevant to me. That person has already said they're not interested.
Right.
So I'm only interested in the people who watched my trailer beyond the halfway mark.
Right.
So then they were like, okay, these are those people who have watched your trailer beyond the halfway mark. Then, okay, now this is where these people live. So generally this New Jersey area, like this is where the bulk of your hits are coming from, of people who are watching it fully. So let's promote the film there. If the film starts doing well there, people will start talking about it. So you don't have to spend your money promoting the film in like 5 different areas, promote it in LA also, no, just promote it here. Let's say we had $100 to spend, we would have spent 5 rupees in like
Right, other areas.
in 20 different areas, right? We spent all of that in one area,
Hmm.
and as a result, people actually noticed the film.
Right.
And if they then did come to theaters and it did convert, to me that was just, it was a really a revelation.
Hmm.
Because right now what we do is, right, like we also do it, it's like so many views,
Yeah.
which is good.
Right.
It means people are engaging, but are we looking at what are the engagement ratios,
Right.
views to comments, views to likes?
Right.
Is that engagement holding? Is that engagement, like, let's say that your views have gone up by 3 million,
Right.
but have your comments kept up?
Right.
Have your likes kept up?
Right.
So if someone is,
Age and all the
yeah,
people
if someone is just watching your trailer
Yeah.
or your asset, but it's not engaging with it,
Right.
then
Yeah.
they may not be your
Correct,
audience.
correct.
Maybe they just like your song,
Right.
but they may not actually
Correct.
come to theaters to watch the film. So
Right.
how do you create that line where from watching the asset, so in advertising they have this thing, like it's like awareness, interest,
Correct.
conversion, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
with film promotions we are great at awareness. The interest part
Right.
is, right now in Tamil Nadu, it's really great that the press is so involved.
Right.
So the film press and the entertainment press, they're not the same.
Right.
There are people who actually come and write on the film, who are not just reviewers, but they're actually like engaging
Right.
with the
Right.
content.
Right.
It isn't just page 3 celeb kind of
Correct.
entertainment, right?
Correct.
Right now that conversion from awareness to interest is happening only via the press, news,
Mm.
reviews, that, and that's great because that's very powerful in Tamil Nadu, and
Yeah.
that's why the and there's a lot of engagement. But I'm saying that in a larger sense, I think that this is something I would personally really like to do, is to see how we can turn our overall approach to promotions in a way that makes it much more scientific. Like today, I know that I have to put a certain number of newspaper ads because I have expectation, my distributor has expectation, my
Right.
and I know that they're very effective also.
Mm.
So I'm not saying that they're not effective. What I'm saying is, what I'd like to be able to give to my partners is, okay guys, we did this much of X activity, that should give us this much of X awareness,
Right.
Y interest, and Z conversion.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it has
Done,
to
done,
be
done.
a scientific
Got it. Yeah,
approach
yeah.
to this.
Right.
Because in this we can be scientific, and technology exists, and now it's
Right. So is that case you approached Bison in the same way?
yeah, in a manner of speaking. I mean, we tried to, what we've done is that we've gotten an agency involved who's excellent, and our partners are Applause Entertainment, and I just want to tell your audiences that Applause Entertainment has been a real revelation. They're a wonderful company. So, they've also like taken certain approaches to ensuring that, just at least on a reporting level, we have some. But as far as Bison is concerned, Mari sir is able to touch the nerve of the public in a way that no amount of science can do, right?
Yeah.
The music of the film, the 5 songs, the last one came out
Yeah.
a few days ago. It's such a fantastic album.
Mm.
It's such a different album. I think in the last few years there's been a lot of electronic music. and
Right.
to
Nivaski
have this-
Prasanna.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that just also the way that Mari sir has approached the assets, the actual video assets, the music,
Correct.
So I think for us on this film, we were very clear that we are standing behind the director.
Right. Mm.
And the director, because we are very confident of the content on this film, right? You don't actually, it doesn't require like a crazy promotional
Promotions,
push.
yeah.
Or,
Why I asked this is the Wally, this Tenkilak song itself wanted major of the audience to come to the film, not Mari Selvaraj's fans, but also the other people wanted to witness that particular song in theatre. See, that is more than enough for a film to be pushed. No, not all the banners and all that. Also, the word of mouth after the film got released is
that's
also.
the thing. You have to be. It comes down to like the kind of film you're doing, right? Like a film like Bison. Like I said, we're very confident of the contents. We know when people see it, they're going to love it. We want to invite people in to see the film. So we're not kind of like we don't have to pretend to make a big noise. We are absolutely very keen to show the film to our partners friends in the press, and to show it to the press. And because I feel that the press actually in Tamil Nadu is very intelligent. Really, like I'm not saying this because we're in release week, but
Correct.
in the course of the last few years, I've always found that they really engage with the film. They engage with the themes of the film. They engage with the creators. They engage with the larger idea of the film. Of course, they engage with the
Right.
content. Of
Right.
course, this is not the case everywhere.
Right.
So many trailer launches, sometimes it comes down to like the press will ask questions about like, so we have heard that you are dating so and so, or so ma'am, we heard that you got into a fight with so and so. It's like that. It's like very stupid stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. So for us, we made a beautiful film. We are giving it over now to you guys,
Yeah.
and to the
So
audience.
beautiful film, as you said. Dhruv said in a recent promotion thing that this is my first film, and people started talking about no, it's not third film, something like that. But I think you are the after Mari Selvaraj sir, you are the right person to tell about that clearly, so that yes, it's Dhruv's first film, because you might have know what has gone through and what this character is going to do for the audience in theaters.
I think that in every actor's career, they have desire sometimes to do a film that completely changes them, where they have the ability to prepare for the role in a way that
Yeah.
it's a very unique opportunity. What I will say is that Dhruv, he didn't come into this film as Dhruv. He came into the film as the character, because by the time he started the film, he had spent so much time actually outside of Chennai, actually playing kabaddi, kind of like immersing himself in that role, that by the time he started the film, he was no longer Dhruv. He was a character, I don't think that Dhruv will ever mean any kind of disrespect to.
Yeah.
He's a
Other
he's
creators,
actually
right?
he's actually a very sweet person. He's a really sweet guy. I mean, when I first was going to be introduced to him, then I didn't know this about him, but over time I've gotten to know him, and he's a very, very sweet person. And he'll never ever mean any disrespect, especially for a film that has his father in it. So I think that I think it was probably like misunderstood.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to share his joy about the film. He wanted to share the kind of effort that has gone into the film. He spent 4 years
Yeah.
practically on this film. And, because of COVID and stuff, Mahan went to OTT. So this is kind of like, his big
Release.
entry into theatres, meeting audiences,
Correct.
for a film that's like, and it's releasing on Diwali. It's a big celebration. So I think he said it very innocently, and I think he was coming from a point of view of just
No,
like.
I just wanted to know what really the world is about, what the characters into the world is about, so that will be more clear for the audience. Okay, this is right film, right for him to say that. Okay, this is the first film.
So I can only tell you that that you will see Dhruv in a way that you've never seen him before.
Yeah.
You will never ever have seen Dhruv in that way. Dhruv, I know this. Dhruv is going to surprise his fans. Dhruv is going to surprise the audiences. Dhruv is going to surprise critics. He's going to be something completely different in this film, because I know how immersed he's been in this film. I'm telling you, I always say it like this. Mari sir took him apart like a jigsaw puzzle. He took him apart and then he put him back together.
Nice.
This is very rare. It does not happen so frequently.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen on every film. I don't think we should go on the words that he said. I think it's more like
Yeah, correct.
the emotion
Correct.
of wanting to share that joy and happiness.
Right.
He works so hard. Every time I used to see Dhruv, he has not slept for I don't know how many hours. He has this injury, that injury. Really, I have done a lot of films, or I've done a few films, but I've never seen an actor work like this.
Yeah.
I've never seen a director work like this either. Never seen a director work that hard. My God, he's hard to keep up with him. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there for the whole shoot, but the bits that I saw, he doesn't sleep, he doesn't eat, he only works. Crazy.
Whom you wanted to work with in future? Is there any particular directors in Kollywood?
I want to produce a film with Ranjit sir directs. That I really, really want to do.
Yeah.
That's my dream. and there's a director called Lenin Bharti.
Yeah.
So
மேற்கு தொடர்ச்சி மலை.
mm,
Yeah.
so he's someone that I want to work with.
Mm.
I want to try and do Franklin's next film.
Mm.
I really want to work with a female director.
Okay.
I really want to work with a female director. That's
Any particular genres? I mean, say
no,
commercial.
I don't have a
no.
genre. I consciously don't have that genre because it's very limiting.
Yeah.
If I had a genre, then I wouldn't have done writer and JBB.
No, that's why I want to ask
So,
this question.
No, I don't have any genre. It is literally about how authentically a person can tell a story
Mm.
and whether that film can be mounted.
Okay.
There are some beautiful stories,
Right.
but they don't. They're impossible to mount in a reasonable way.
Right.
So, and then there are a few very talented people. One of them is Kabilan, who's our poster, who's our
Yeah.
publicity designer. And I can't call him a designer. I have to call him an artist. He has such a visual depth,
Yeah.
an ability to tell a story in a single frame. If he ever decides to direct a film, I would love to be a part of that. But I know he'll have many people lined up because many people feel like that about him.
So, what can we expect in Bison?
You can expect the unexpected, little bit. It's a very beautifully made story. I think the way that Mari sir explains it, based on 1,000 true stories, you will find a film which is extremely emotional, which is very personal, but also kind of gives you a sense of the world that Mari sir also grew up in. Yeah, it's a very good film. It's really a very good film. I can't answer this question in a like a producer way. I can only answer this as an audience. The first two times the first time I saw the film, I saw it without subtitles. I wept through the whole film.
Mm.
Second time I saw the film with subtitles, I wept through the whole film. Okay, and it's not weeping as in sad film weeping. No, it's like there are such beautiful moments. Such beautiful moments between these characters. You like see a little bit of yourself really. Like when you see the film, I'm excited to talk about the film after you guys have seen it because I'm telling you, it made me think of my family.
So, definitely I'll invite you after the release, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, we can break down the film in
That's
terms
right.
of production aspect.
Yeah.
Also in terms of characters as we spoke about this JBB and all that. We'll definitely, because from the production producer point of view, that particular shot of Walai, very 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 surprising to understand.
Producers are creative people.
No, yeah, I know that, but it's new to
I'm
me.
kidding. I'm pulling your leg. See, I would have been a director, but when I directed a short film, and it very much ended up looking like a Punjabi adult film.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm a good director. Maybe now
so
I'll try.
they're online
Maybe now
anyway,
I'll
no?
try. No. Yes, I took that off. No, I feel that cinema is very powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you should only make serious films. JBB was not a serious film like that,
Correct.
right? But I still think it was a powerful film. And I think cinema has the ability to change the world a little bit. It is even if it doesn't change the world, it has the ability to start a conversation, make people talk. The reason that I'm a producer and that I'm trying to work with people like Ranjit sir, Mari sir, Franklin, it's because I feel that the country that we're living in right now, those conversations are very important. If we don't have them through cinema, then we don't have another way of having them. And the country is so divided right
True.
now. Okay, and if I get to see a little bit of my countryman's life and I experience it, makes me a better Indian, makes me able to ask for a better political system, to ask for my country to do better. I know it sounds very cheesy, I know it sounds very stupid, but I actually think that cinema particularly is very intrinsic to India. It's very much in our DNA.
Right, correct.
We have to reclaim that. We have to reclaim it, we have to take it, we have to make it the medium of the people. Say the things that now we are not able to say otherwise.
Thank you so much for
Most welcome.
writer JBB Dandakaranyam, and all the giving us all the directors to follow them to tell the other stories also. Once again, we'll sit for Bison and we'll decode it. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. Thank you.
You're most welcome and thank you for having me.